Hello and welcome to another supplement dive in. Today we look at Codex Ravengard, or supplement Ravengard. Out of the shadows, we strike.
The Dark King.
Hello and welcome to another SkaredCast review video. I'm Skari, your grateful host. This is SkaredCast. As you can see, I'm deep in the Dark City, Comora. However, today Games Workshop has graciously sent us down the Ravengard supplement, and it is sneaky, and more sneaky. You didn't see it coming, did you? Let's dive into what makes the supplement tick, what you can expect when you, as a Ravengard player, dive in. The supplement itself is built into how the other supplements are sort of showed off. You have As the Shadow Wills, you've got the heritage of the Ravens, Deliverance, you get the story, the background, a lot of the chapter organization, which is fantastic, where you have the Armory, the Apothecarion, Chapter Command, a Reclusium, a Librarius, and you have all 10 of the companies laid out. You've got names, the captain's names, cool like how many in each company, things like that. Each company has a name, a heritage, a background story, a banner. It's really cool. So you have the Black Company as the first company, which is called the Black Wings. The second company, the Shadowborn. The third company are the Ghost Stalkers. The fourth company, the Silent. The fifth company, the Watchful. The sixth company, the Darkened Blades. Seventh company, the Whisper Claws. Eighth company, the Unseen, the Devastators, which is really funny. The ninth company, the Dirge Singers. Oh, are they not? They're close support stuff. Never mind. The Dirge Singers. 10th company, the Subtle. They're Vanguard forces. The Subtle. And then we've got Chapter Command that has their own really cool banner as well. And you go into the Armory. The Rise of the Ravengard, the Massacre at Istvan 5, the Liberation of Quintus, all the cool stories, the Damocles Gulf Crusade where they fought against the Tau, all that good stuff. And Ravengard give you the opportunity to play with Space Marines that are relatively stealthy for Space Marine terms. They strike from the shadows and come at you. So how does this translate into the 40th millennium onto the tabletop battlefield? Well, in 8th edition, this book gives you a character, the form of Shrike, the new chapter master of the Ravengard. It also gives you access to new stratagems, relics, warlord traits, psychic powers that will help you be very sneaky, be very, very quiet. We'll get to Shrike in a second, which is the new chapter master. But let's take a look at the generic special rules of the Sons of Korax. They have surgical strikes, so it is a tactical doctrine edition, which means they will be able to access it starting on the second turn, where the tactical doctrine, or second battle round, when the tactical doctrine becomes active, as long as every single model in your army has the tactical doctrine special rules. When resolving an attack made by the model with the tactical doctrine active against a character, you add +1 to hit and wound rolls. Doesn't seem like a lot straight away. However, a lot of things in the game have character rules. That a very many large amount of knights, for example, have the character keyword, which would mean that your rocket launchers, your las cannons, now get +1 to hit and to wound against them. Just think about that sort of thing. Sniper rifles get +1 to hit and +1 to wound. However, sniper rifles wound on a 6+, do a mortal wound normally in addition to normal damage. Now with a +1 to wound, it will be on 5s and 6s that sniper rifles will be doing damage against your characters. So beware, be careful, as the Ravengard are here to strike. Also has the generic stuff on successive chapters. The Warlord traits are really neat. You get 6 of them. I will pick out a few that I like. Why? There are going to be tons of videos that show you every single rule. I'm going to talk about what I think is really cool and will add a lot to the way of playing Ravengard. My favorite Warlord trait is Master of ambush. At the start of the first battle round before the first turn begins, which means this is after the Seize the Initiative roll. You know who's going first or second. If your Warlord is on the battlefield, good, you can select one other friendly Raven Guard infantry unit from the battlefield. Remove that unit and this Warlord. Set them up anywhere on the battlefield more than 9 inches from the enemy deployment zone and more than 9 from any enemy models. If you have 2 players have the same ability, roll off, winner chooses who redeploys their units first. So I'm thinking, what can I use that for? Well, if I get a Raven Guard Warlord to, say, grab a unit of 6 aggressors or Centurion Devastators and infiltrate them really close to the enemy, now you have a lot of shooting downrange on the first turn, combined with all the other ways that Raven Guard can be right on you, alpha striking you on that first and second turns, which is really, really cool. That's probably my favorite. Yep. Relics of the Ravenspire, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 relics. 1, 2, 3 of them are weapons. However, they are there's 2 melee ones and 1 shooty one. The Ebon Claws for 2 lightning claws. It's a pair of lightning claws that does D3 damage and can do an additional attack. It's really cool. You can also reroll wounds, but it's D3 damage. So rending a lightning claw that does D3 damage. The Armor of Shadows ignores -1 AP, and you can never hit it on more than a 4+. So any unmodified roll of a 1, 2, or 3 to hit this model always fails to hit, which is pretty cool. Means that you can only ever hit him on a 4+, which is awesome. The Raven Skull, you can reroll a hit, wound, or damage roll, and if this model is destroyed as by an enemy unit, until the end of the battle, all units attacking the unit that murdered this character gets +1 to hit, which is pretty cool. Raven's Fury, it's a jump pack. You can advance and charge with this jump pack, and you can reroll the dice to charge. In addition, on a 4+, a unit within 1 inch takes a mortal wound. Okay, but you take it as a advance and charge and a reroll charge on a jump pack. Pretty cool. Then you have the Ex Tenebris. It's a master-crafted Stalker Bolt Rifle, or a master-crafted Oculus Bolt Carbine, or a master-crafted Instigator Bolt Carbine only. It replaces them with a 36-inch range, Assault 3, Strength 4 -2 AP, 2 damage weapon that can target characters even if they're not the closest, and you can add 1 to the hit roll. In addition, when resolving an attack made by this weapon, you do not benefit. So ignore cover, +1 to hit. It's a strength 4, 2 damage, 3-shot weapon at 36-inch range. Remember, on turn 2, it gets an additional +1 to hit and a +1 to wound against characters, being that it is a Raven Guard weapon. So when you're looking at all the cool things that something like this can do, make sure you look at it in the context of what special rules you have access to, and that'll really give you the power of individual relics. Then you have the Oppressor's End. Model equipped with a combat knife only. Essentially, it gives you an additional attack in close combat. Against a character, you have a damage characteristic of 3, which is pretty cool. Remember, you get +1 to hit and to wound characters if you're on Tactical Doctrine. And it is a +1 strength, -2 AP, 1 damage weapon normally, but against characters, it's 3 damage at -2 AP. Pretty cool. That's like a Kegrax Rose from the Harlequins. Special issue war gear for the Space Marines. Seems like this is something that most of them get. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that are standard across all of the supplements. Adamantium Mantle, ignore wounds on a 5+. Artificer Armor, 2+ save and a 5+ invulnerable save. Mastercrafted Weapon, add +1 to the damage of a weapon that's not a chapter relic. Digital Weapons, 1 additional attack. If it hits, it's just a mortal wound. That's it in close combat. And then 4 that are Raven Guard specific. The Shadow Master's Cloak. If you're within terrain, it's a 3+ invulnerable save. It's kind of like a Storm Shield, but a relic. Pretty cool. The Silentus Pistol. You can give it to a pistol or heavy bolt pistol only. It is a 12-inch range pistol 2, strength 5, -2 AP, 2 damage. that can shoot characters even if they're not the closest, and you can add 1 to the hit roll. So combine that with your tactical doctrine. Now you're +2 to hit, +1 to wound, does 2 damage, strength 5, and it's 2 shots. So it could do up to 4 damage. Great to take out small, minor characters. Now, one of my favorite special issue war gears of this entire supplement is something called the Corvidari bolts. So when you give a model this relic, you select 1 bolt weapon as designated by the Codex Space Marine that the model is armed with. And this model's bolt weapon can have these bolts, these Corvidari bolts, which are basically seeker bolts that can run around and shoot you. If you do so, you can shoot once. You just get 1 shot. It increases the range by 6, and you can target characters that are not visible to the bearer. So the first thing that jumped out at me with this is taking it on a Phobos captain with the 1-shot bolt gun that he has that's 3 damage that can target characters, and now all of a sudden you can target characters with the 1 shot that's 3 damage that's not visible to the bearer. So you can shoot characters out of line of sight with a 3 damage weapon. Combine that on turn 2 with +1 to hit and +1 to wound, and it makes a Phobos captain with a super sniper rifle very dangerous. Shard of Istvan, add 1 to attacks with the model with this relic, and all Raven Guard within 6 inches automatically pass morale test. So it's like a fearless bubble and also +1 attack. Pretty snazzy for a relic, but I really like the Corvidari bolts, and I really, really like the bolts. I think the bolts are like my favorite. And then, of course, the Shadow Master's Cloak we'll probably see a lot. Stratagems, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 stratagems, like in all of the supplements. You've got your regular ones, but there are a couple that are really cool that I really like. Infiltrators is 1 command point. You can do this as many times as you want for every Raven Guard infantry army on the battlefield at the start of the first battle round before the first turn starts. Each unit you select, so you can spend 5 infantry units, spend 5 command points. They can each get affected once. You can move. They basically move as if it were your movement phase. Move, advance, all that good stuff. So if they're, and they just have to end their move more than 9 inches away from enemy models. That's it. So if you're going first and you want Alpha Strike, get a bunch of bolters in range, you can make all your intercessors get an extra move. So you can move in advance, up, get closer to the enemy to start shooting them with bolt fire, which is really cool. That's one of my favorites. Another one is called Stranglehold. For 2 command points on the first battle round, you can essentially, if you have any Raven Guard scouts or Phobos units, on a 5+, every time your opponent uses a stratagem, you can make them spend an additional command point. It's like having a Calidus assassin in your Raven Guard army. In my opinion, that's pretty cool and quite characterful as well. They get a fallback and shoot and charge, which is really cool. They also get a 1 command point. They can pick any Raven Guard infantry to deep strike for 1 command point, so you can deep strike a variety of different units, which is really cool. And other than that, there's a couple other ones as well in there. But that's really one of the ones that I really enjoy, is being able to pre-game move and being able to you can also, if you have a unit with a jump pack, 1 command point, they can charge after they advanced, which is pretty cool. But all in all, it makes them very snazzy, very in-your-face, alpha strikey for Space Marines. Which is, if you like an aggressive style, get in your opponent's face style army, Raven Guard is for you. As for psychic powers, there's a couple that I really like. You can -1 to hit psychic power on an enemy unit, and it cannot overwatch. So you can make an enemy unit not be able to overwatch, and then -1 to hit, which is always really, really useful. And there's another one, it's a -1 leadership power, which is okay. And then there's this one which is called Spectral Blade, which can make your librarian's combat weapon be double -4, and your strength of the weapon is the leadership of the librarian, which makes it leadership 8 or 9, which is pretty cool. So, you've all been waiting for Shrike. Let's take a look at how they revamped Kaivan Shrike, the chapter master of the Raven Guard. He is 130 points, 7 power level. He moves 14 inches, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+. He has a strength, a toughness of 4. He has 6 wounds, like a good Primaris captain. 6 attacks, so +1 when he charges is 7 attacks. And the Raven Talons just give him reroll wounds. He has leadership 9 and a 3+ save. He is armed with Blackout, the Raven's Talons, Frag, and Crack Grenades. You can only include one model in your army. Blackout is one of the coolest things I like about Shrike. It is an 18-inch pistol that has 2 shots. So pistol 2, it is strength 4, -2 AP, 2 damage, and it can shoot at characters even if they're not the closest. So it snipes characters out within 18 inches with 2 shots hitting on 2s. On a wound roll of a 6+, it does 1 mortal wound. So they're actual sniper pistols. Remember, with the cool Raven Guard tactical doctrine, you get +1 to hit, +1 to wound. So he's going to be doing mortal wounds on 5+ against characters and wounding and hitting on +1 to hit, which is pretty cool. And he's strength 4, so he's wounding most things on 4s or 3s a lot of the time. The Raven's Talons are basically lightning claws. It's a melee weapon, strength user, AP -3 and 2 damage. So it's a 2 damage lightning claw with 6 attack, 7 on the charge. Frag and Crack Grenades, pretty standard. I don't need to go over those again. His abilities are Angels of Death. He is a chapter master, so he gets to reroll all hit rolls within 6 inches for all Raven Guard. He has a diving charge, so when he finishes a charge, select one enemy within 1 inch. On a 4+, takes a mortal wound. It's pretty little thing. Has a 4-up invulnerable save. He has a grav shoot, so you can deep strike him essentially. Place him at the end of your movement phase, within away from 9 inches from any enemy models. And the last rule he has is called Winged Deliverance. So you can reroll charge rolls made for Raven Guard Jump Pack and Phobos. So they added the Phobos. That's all infiltrators, all Phobos captains, anything like that. If they're within 6 inches of Shrike, they can reroll charge distances, making them more efficient at getting stuck into combat. Thank you so much, GW, for sending me down the Raven Guard. Let me know down in the comments what you think is a cool combo that you've seen, or if you're excited about the Raven Guard. If not, tell me which one you are excited about, and let's start a cool little discussion. I have been Skari, your grateful host. Huge shout out, and thank you to all the Patreons to the channel. If you'd like to support the channel, check the links down below for all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next video. Skari out. Bye!